Big Tesla news was just confirmed, and this is why the stock is going up. And if you like seeing Tesla stock up, make sure to click the like button right now. This is the news just confirmed. The NHTSA has announced the next step in its new automated vehicle framework, looking to ease rules hindering Tesla's Cybercab and others. And there's more big news, by the way. It's not just this, but this is actually really good already, because this is the Trump administration taking steps, actually. So the relationship between the president and Elon Musk has been repaired largely, I would say. And so NHTSA anticipates reaching decisions on most exemption requests within months rather than years. Basically, currently, you need to talk to the federal government and ask for an exemption, which would allow you to have no human driver in the vehicle, which takes years to get an approval. NHTSA says they will publish the enhanced instructions shortly and will begin implementing the modified approach to evaluating exemption requests immediately. And look, this is not just me saying this is a big deal for Tesla. Farzad agrees. Pete is extremely excited here. It's a celebration for all Tesla stock investors today. And there's more important news. You will want to watch this video for at least the next 6 minutes. And this is pretty exciting, assuming that this is true. So there's this account which live streamed a few hours of content, basically following or trying to find Tesla Robotaxis in Austin. And they found one. And the big deal here is that there is no chase car around the residential streets. Supposedly, this is a Robotaxi. Now, the problem with this is I can't see exactly if anyone is sitting at the steering wheel driving the vehicle, but they are saying this is a Robotaxi, so I assume that's correct, but I cannot fully 100% prove it. I think it has manufacturer plates, so this is not a privately owned Tesla vehicle, but we do not get to see clearly who's or if anyone is driving the car, and they are saying here the driver took over. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Maybe if there is a person sitting in the passenger seat and not at the driver's seat, maybe he just basically signaled to the vehicle stop, because I think the person in the car noticed that this guy, Josh, is following them. There are a few more reasons why Tesla stock is up today. Here's, for example, the president saying a lot of people love electric. They love Tesla. So do I. In all fairness, he says, I like Tesla and I like others too, but I also like combustion engines. There are reasons for a lot of things. And right here, the president even called Elon Musk a friend of his. He said, I was amazed Elon Musk endorsed me because I was abolishing the EV mandate. Once I asked him, he said, as long as it's happening to everybody, I'll be able to compete. It was a very honest answer. He's a friend of mine. And it turns out one reason why these two made up is because of the vice president. The president wishes Elon well and isn't looking to be in a long-term feud with Elon. I've spoken to Elon and the president about trying to ensure that Elon is publicly and privately supporting the president's agenda. I'll keep doing that. My personal expectations are, in the future, I think we are going to have more feuds between the president and Elon Musk, and they will make up just like this time, the next time too. Unless Elon just switches political sides completely again. And now here's Waymo in a new blog post saying, we conducted a comprehensive study using Waymo's internal dataset spanning 500,000 hours of driving. It is significantly larger than any dataset used in previous scaling studies in the autonomous vehicle domain. Our study uncovered the following. Similar to LLMs, motion forecasting quality also follows a power law as a function of training compute, which is why Tesla has so much training compute. Data scaling is critical for improving the model performance. You mean having more data is better? And you mean Tesla, of course, has the most data by far, meaning Tesla's models inevitably are going to be the best. How insightful of them. Scaling inference compute also improves the model's ability to handle more challenging driving scenarios. Also more of the same, basically. Closed loop performance follows a similar scaling trend. This suggests for the first time that real-world autonomous vehicle performance can be improved by increasing training data and compute. This is something Tesla has known for years, and this is something that I've been saying now for years. So you can't really compete against Tesla. Basically, Waymo just researched that they are not going to win, and this is why the CEO of Google said that he's not betting against Elon Musk. Basically, he admitted defeat. Literally, the Google CEO said that a few days ago. And he owns basically Waymo, so this is a big deal. This is an extremely bullish finding for Tesla. And this just proves what I've been saying now for years. I said that I would prefer to actually ride in a Robotaxi instead of an Uber, and I would actually personally be willing to pay a bit more money to do that. And now this clearly shows it's not just me. This is the average price per 1 kilometer, and you can see that Waymo is more expensive than Lyft and Uber, and the difference is significant. Now, some people are going to be saying they are paying for novelty at the moment more than other factors, but it's more than just novelty. It's generally nice to not have a driver. Now, I of course think that Tesla is going to offer rides for much cheaper than Lyft and Uber, which is why I think these companies are not going to be in business for very, very long after Tesla launches its robotaxis, unless somehow they make a deal with Tesla. And we got more really good news for Tesla. This will give Tesla even more data, allowing Tesla to solve full self-driving, making it safer than human driving even faster in all of the US, and not just the US, but also China. Chinese authorities have released draft guidelines on transmitting data from automobiles overseas, a move that could pave the way for the wider rollout of Tesla's most advanced driver assistance functions in the world's largest car market. Being able to use the Chinese data is going to be good because there are a lot of Teslas in China. And this is now becoming so routine. This is Omar saying from parking spot to parking spot completely on his own. His Tesla picked him up from Costco driverlessly, then drove him to his office with zero interventions. This is probably a 15-minute drive. This is sped up. And I'm telling you, this is not happening just in California. When I was in Texas, in the Houston metro area, this happened to me all the time. And this is some more good news. Tesla has officially taken the first steps to enter the Moroccan market with the formation of a new subsidiary, Tesla Morocco, marking Tesla's first direct venture into Africa. So Tesla's entering a new market. It's not going to be a big market, but every little bit helps. Also, Tesla has officially now released the refreshed or so-called refresh Model S and X vehicles, and Omar is calling them game changers because you're getting 5 additional miles of range. However, you are paying $5,000 more for these extra 5 miles of range. Now, you do get a few other things. For example, you do get the front bumper cameras with washers, and I think for these bigger vehicles, this is really important for a Model 3 or a Model Y because the vehicle is a lot more compact and you can see a lot more clearly where the front of your vehicle ends. It's not that big of a deal to not have a front bumper camera, but for the Model S especially, yeah, this is a nice improvement. This was actually one of the reasons why when I first test drove a Model X and a Model S years ago, I didn't want to get these cars because here in Vancouver City, Canada, you gotta park tight. You're gonna get multicolor ambient lighting on the dashboard, as well as a few other places. Also the football lights, so definitely they're doing a better job of LED lighting. The cars, by the way, are going to look exactly the same as they used to look before. This is great. There's going to be less wind and road noise because of active noise cancellation. There's going to be a smoother ride thanks to new bushings and suspension design, and a few more improvements. For example, more space for the third row occupants and cargo. I don't think they're making the car bigger, so I'm wondering how are they doing this? Sawyer also doesn't know actually how come they're able to have more space for the third row. Okay, so Tesla is not really calling this a refresh. They are just saying that the Model S and X just got even better. This is how the interior looks now. Pretty cool here. And these are the rear footwell lights. Definitely it will improve the overall experience if you sit in the back. It's gonna actually feel more luxurious now. And then Tesla discontinued the yoke steering wheel on the long-range Model S and X. Is still available as a $1,000 upgrade on the plaid trims, however. I certainly agree with Omar here. Bold design decision, but ultimately a flop in the market. Needed steer-by-wire to be truly great. I was hoping that this new Model S and X design would have a steer-by-wire, but no, it does not, because I guess you need to rebuild most of the car to make that happen, or a large portion of it. Even Verzad agrees here, thank goodness. The yoke without steer-by-wire is by far the worst design decision Tesla has ever made. Tesla confirmed here that the front bumper cameras on their cars enables enhanced visibility when using autopilot and actually smart summon. I think a lot of people are sort of missing the point of the Model X and X here. I don't think this update is a huge update. Definitely not. It's not going to generate more sales. But the bigger thing for me here is that they are not discontinuing it. They still are going to keep making this car. So if you do want to buy one, it's not gone. But very clearly, Tesla's focus is not at all on the Model S or X. What the updated Model S and X did for me tonight is solidify how great of a deal the new Model Y is. It's now a $45,000 price difference between the Model Y and the Model X. So you can basically get two of those for the price of one Model X. I don't think they added the stock for turn signals, did they? I don't think they did. Having driven the refresh Model 3 and the refresh Model Y, I certainly prefer the Model Y, largely because of the turn signal, really. Although a friend of mine has a Tesla vehicle without a turn stock, and seems like he has gotten used to it, and he used to hate it in the beginning. The NVIDIA CEO is calling this decade the decade of autonomous vehicles and autonomous machines, so obviously he is bullish about Tesla. He did express his bullishness for about Tesla earlier, by the way, but here he's expressing his general bullishness about the industry. The Tesla Cybercab is on tour. They actually just unveiled it in Paris, France. There's someone advocating for FSD approval in Sweden, and Elon Musk reposted this, also adding the public support is much appreciated. So he's pushing for FSD approval in Europe with his public posts getting millions of views. And this is FSD in Italy, specifically in Rome. It's pending regulatory approval. Here's a list of countries where we have seen Tesla's FSD supervised being used in: Italy, Netherlands, France, Australia, Canada, the US, China, and Mexico. In all of these countries, we have seen at least something official from Tesla. And this is more countries than Waymo operates in cities. Not all cities, of course, are the same size, but currently Waymo is live in 45 cities, while FSD Supervised specifically is currently live in over 26,000 cities. I like these comparisons, but of course this is supervised FSD, so in a way, how much does this mean? It is pretty meaningful, but currently Tesla is launching in Austin, so let's see how that goes. And this is why I suggest you use FSD if you have it. This guy says, "Thank you, Tesla, for saving my family. And from a crash today, I did not have the 1 second reaction time to prevent it." If you were watching this, the car that's being driven, yep, it did start slowing down, and clearly it avoided the truck. 8 cameras are better than 2 eyes, he says. And he does believe that he would not have had the 1 second reaction time to prevent the crash. But FSD, it reacts quickly. Basically, the whole thing was over before he could move his foot to the brake. Some people talked about how BYD's so-called God's Eye is going to compete with Tesla, but let's take a look at what's happening. Ray says that it's actually nowhere near Tesla's FSD. It does have a lot of perception sensors, just like other competing systems in China, but what matters is the actual performance. Currently, God's Eye consistently ranks at the bottom among all leading systems in China based on the test review. So currently, nothing to worry about. Gary Black still remains so bullish about Uber, and he's not really that bullish about Tesla's FSD. Uber is not the disruptor here. Uber is the disrupted. Investors beware. I agree with Omar on this one. Gary asks, did you own Netflix when it disrupted itself with streaming? I did, says Omar, because Netflix created their own streaming service, one of the first. By contrast, Uber killed their own autonomous service years ago after killing someone. That's more interesting to me here is that Gary Black now agrees that building the user app, that's the easiest part. That's like 0.05% of how hard the whole thing is. He literally says, that's correct. Assume that any auto manufacturer who is approved for generalized and supervised autonomy will add their driverless vehicles to Uber's platform, which will reduce cost per mile and accelerate growth in Uber's total addressable market. Okay, but you will not have a Tesla in the network, and Tesla is going to have by far the cheapest rides. So why would anyone use Uber if you can get into a Tesla for, let's say, 20% cheaper, 30% cheaper? Probably the only way you can still stick around is if Tesla doesn't offer a form factor that you desperately need. For example, let's say you want a huge vehicle that's fully autonomous and you want to go on a ride with, let's say, 8 of your friends and you want to go in one single vehicle. So the Tesla Model X, for example, for you is not big enough, and there would be a super narrow use case for Uber than if they have other vehicles that are autonomous, that are much bigger than Tesla's tiny Cybercab. So basically, I'm thinking there's no real use case there unless you want to show off your status. So maybe if there's some other vehicle that's fully autonomous, that's supposedly, you know, much more better looking, it's much more luxurious than any Tesla vehicle. Okay, maybe that's why you would be okay paying a lot more. But for practical purposes, I don't think that Uber is going to stick around after Tesla launches its own Robotaxi network and scales it and makes it cheaper than all the rides that Uber provides. And here, Gary Black actually basically changed his previous argument. Before, he was so fixated that Tesla is not going to replicate the app because it's so hard to do it, because it's so hard to know exactly where the passengers are going to be, I guess, and how much they're going to pay. If you are going to have lower cost than anyone else, I don't think that's a hard part. And I think he's now realizing that. That's why he's changing his opinion here. He's saying that the app is the easy part now. And he's saying that we Tesla bulls are overly focused on the app. That's the easy part to replicate. The only reason why I talked quite a bit about the app was because Gary Black said that that's the hard part to do. And I completely disagreed with him. What I'm saying here is that we Tesla bulls are winning here, and Gary Black currently is not really a Tesla stock bull because he doesn't have any Tesla stock. I have a prediction, however. It's only a matter of time before Gary Black is back in Tesla stock. And then Gary Black got roasted here a little bit. He says, I'll just leave this here. This is year to date through yesterday. And he has a few companies, including Uber, S&P 500, and Tesla. Tesla is down 19%, while Uber is up 43%. I'll just leave this here. This is the past 12 months of Tesla stock. And Gary's ETF, BYD, Uber, and S&P 500. Tesla outperformed your ETF by 6x. Omar is now calling Gary a Tesla bear. He says Tesla bears like Gary love to cherry pick the year-to-date performance because it ignores a huge run-up after the election and measures from the top. In reality, investors who bought shares a year ago, for example, some investors like me who loaded up back in 2022 of December when I said this is a buying opportunity when Tesla stock was close to $100. But the investors that bought shares just a year ago have already nearly doubled their money. Continue to pound the table on that year-to-date performance while you can, bears. We all know what happened in the second half of last year, and there were no Robotaxis then. I will say one thing that is impressive, however, here, Gary Black outperformed S&P 500 by 3-ish% if you're looking at the last 12 months, but he didn't since the inception of his ETF. But I assume that this chart doesn't take into consideration S&P 500 dividends, and I assume that Gary's I don't know if Gary Black pays out, if stocks that he's holding, if they pay dividends or not, and if that's calculated in here or not. Oh, Gary responds here, I'm not a Tesla bear, Omar. I try to provide a balance of positive and negative info, unlike you who only posts the positive. Ooh, James is excited here. He's getting a Tesla Model Y performance, and it's now pretty much confirmed that the new performance Tesla Model Y is going to have substantially more horsepower. So this is going to be faster, man. He's loving it. Oh, and check this out. It's expected that the battery in the new Model Y performance is going to have peak charging power soaring to 350 kilowatts. Oh, Tesla sues an ex-Optimus engineer for theft of trade secrets. The said engineer worked at Tesla for about 2 years, and I think he left Tesla in 2024. His startup is called Proception. The defendant purportedly achieved in a matter of months what it has taken Tesla over 4 years, hundreds of employees, and billions of dollars to achieve, the complaint from Tesla said. This guy founded this company 6 days after leaving Tesla. Proception's hands have striking similarities to Tesla's. Tesla requested an unspecified amount of monetary damages and a court order blocking Proception from misusing its trade secrets. Tesla is likely to win this, so I think it's all good. Oh, Meta. So basically Facebook just launched this AI world model to advanced robotics and self-driving cars. Okay, so we're gonna have one more competitor in the space. And this is, wow. This is pretty big. And I've been bullish on SpaceX, and SpaceX has gone up substantially since I said that I would love to invest in SpaceX if I could invest without huge fees. ARK Invest expects SpaceX to be valued at $2.5 trillion in 2030 and upwards of $12.5 trillion in 2040 from $350 billion today. The company's Mars plans play out, but still $9 trillion if they don't. ARK's 2030 bear case, look at this, bear case is 1.7 trillion, so up from 350. That's a huge increase. So if the Mars thing plays out, that's a 35x-ish return or 25x return if the plans don't play out as they are expecting. These are huge returns. So yeah, going forward, ARK Invest is going to cover and share their SpaceX model with us. So that's pretty cool. I'll probably make a separate video maybe sometime later about this or the next time they update their model. Actually, I didn't know about this little feature here that makes Teslas much harder to steal. I know you can set up a pin to drive, and if you have the pin set up, you will not be able to drive it off even if somehow they get access to your keycard, phone, or vehicle. And this is the part I didn't know. The pin pad also appears in a slightly different place on the screen every time, so finger grease doesn't give away your pin. Oh, and I like this. This is currently already today. How comfortable would you feel riding in an autonomous driverless rideshare like Waymo? 60% of Uber's customer base, given enough self-driving cars and price that's equal to or less than Uber, will use self-driving cars every time. This is already based on what they think today. This feels like asking before the release of the iPhone, are you going to be using a smartphone going forward that has a touchscreen? So however many people are saying yes now, of course this number is going to improve in a very significant way. Oh, and SpaceX now has completed the first generation Starlink direct-to-cell constellation, so soon you'll be able to make calls from anywhere basically at all because you will have direct connection to the Starlink satellite without any extra equipment needed. I personally believe that Tesla stock is going to $1,000 per share, and then after that, well above it. My name is Matt Postius. I also now upload all my videos on Rumble, so if you prefer Rumble, you can watch my videos over there. Make sure to follow my new X account if you haven't followed me on X yet. There's a link down below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe right now, and I will be back with another video probably on Monday. See you then again.